It's Nate and Eric. We're talking to musicians and music adjacent people about the worst shit show they've ever been a part of. These are the stories that you don't get to hear. This is what we call shit show.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Get in here. Come on, goof. You goofs, get in here. I hope you guys are all doing great and excited for the holiday season. I love the cold. I love everything about it. I love it. I'm going to be taking off the next couple of weeks to go spend time with family and friends. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this year, and I hope that you have liked this podcast. I am looking forward to next year and all the cool interviews I'm going to be doing. And yeah, man, I'm super stoked. I kind of feel like this year's been just like a total blur. Just I can't remember a single thing that's happened, but yet I know there was so much shit that's gone on, and like just crazy how that works, you know. Anyway, looking forward to next year. Looking forward to getting back out on the road, playing some more shows. To kick it off, we're going to be playing in Greeley, Colorado at New Year's. So if you guys are around and want to go see some hood rat shit, come on down. We would love to have you. Lastly, I want to say thanks again to Nick Wheeler for letting me bother him and ask him about all the craziness that's gone on with American Rejects, All American Rejects. So thanks again, everybody. I look forward to hearing from you next year. Enjoy the holiday. Be close to loved ones. And let's hit the music! What's another story you got for me?
Oh man, well, we'll go back a little further.
Okay. Is this before?
This is before Shaba.
Okay.
This is before. This is probably before ever getting to go overseas. We'll go back to Oklahoma. So back in the day, I mean, you go to a show now, you see bands, you expect to see a laptop on stage.
Yeah.
Especially now, like there's so many independent artists, you know, that are having to make their money by playing shows or by touring because nobody buys records, and streaming doesn't pay. But so many people are having to figure out how to perform, and there's so many acts that are maybe 2 or 3 people, and that's it.
Right.
But if you're going to put on a show, maybe you need a drummer, maybe you need other musicians. You're not going to, you know, be able to afford all these musicians. So sometimes there'll just be a drummer and a singer on stage and everything else is on tracks. Like that's totally normal these days.
Right.
And that's fine. You know, the purest part of me enjoys seeing whatever I'm hearing. I enjoy seeing it being played. But that's just because I'm old as shit.
I agree,
but
I'm in between. I'm
okay.
in that weird, like we just toured with a band. Their bass player couldn't make it. It was all tracks, but it was him playing. So I was like, I kind of gave him a pass. You know, I'm like, all right.
That's another thing. Like a lot of bands that I work with and that come through the studio just don't even have a bass player. So I end up playing all the bass on the song, and then they put it on tracks. So like they'll go tour, and I'm technically their bass player, I guess.
Yeah, Nick Wheeler's our bass player. Like, what have you done? Nice flex, dude. What the hell?
I actually love playing bass. It's so much fun. It's like just getting to just kind of be somebody else for a day. It's fun. But
do you ever mess with baritone guitars and stuff?
Oh yeah.
That's
I got one in the house. I love it. Of course, the first thing I learned was the Twin Peaks theme song, but
sure.
And then anything off of like that fourth Dave Matthews record where it's all fucking baritone. What is that? The Everyday record.
Yeah. I love baritone. I just got into it, and this new record we did is all baritone.
Really?
The entire thing.
What are you running it through?
The baritone in particular? I'm just dropping. Well, it's in A.
I was gonna say you dropping a whole step.
Yeah,
goddamn right.
Down in A, and then it's just my regular pedal setup.
Okay.
And it sounds meaty.
Is it on the cleaner side or on the heavier side?
Heavier.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. I guess the genre you would say is degent or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
That weird kind of. Anyway, but
I never knew how to pronounce that word. Thank you for that.
I don't know if that's right.
It's not digging.
Yeah. Yeah, there's somebody that's gonna at me on this. Like, what's up, idiot? Here it is. Let me break it down
What's
for you.
up, idiot? Oh, that's great.
I hope your mom hates you. 'Cause-
Hope your mom hates you.
yeah, it's gonna be something stupid.
Oh man. Well, all that to say, we come from an era where you didn't often see computers, or if there were tracks, you didn't want people to know that there were. However, if you're familiar with our first record, or any of our early stuff, there's a lot of like drum loops,
Yeah.
a lot of keyboards. The band started with just me and our singer Tyson, and sometimes we would even have the drums on track. But that was just because that's what the band was.
Right.
Kind of like these kids now are doing. But once we got a drummer, once we got another guitar player, we were like, okay, there's enough going on stage. It's not obvious that we need tracks, but there's still a lot of drum loops, and we can't afford a keyboard player yet. So the show still did run off of tracks. Now, this was 2001, 2002, so the tracks weren't running on any laptop.
Right.
Like, laptops were not trustworthy enough at this point, unless you're fucking Linkin Park and you have like
Right.
a whole Pro Tools rig on the road with you.
Or 9 Inch Nails, which
Yes,
also
exactly.
the most crazy technology ever.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
It scares me. Like, I have nightmares of gear failing, and I can
Dude,
only imagine that kind of setup.
That used to be my life for so long, and I've done everything in my power to, as a now adult with other responsibilities and other things going on. I'm like, I can't have these crazy work dreams where all the gear fails. Like, I can't.
Some people
This is
have
not
dreams
sustainable.
They're naked in front of a crowd. Mine is just the tubes in my Fender basement just blew out.
Totally. My naked in front of a crowd is the tracks go down. Because when we were doing the Axe Effects thing, I had programmed everybody's pedal changes with Ableton and all
Cool.
that stuff. But this was no Ableton rig. This was a Korg Triton, which I found out is now having a resurgence. Like, kids think they're cool and vintage now, which is wild because like that was the shit. That was the new badass keyboard when we were starting out. I had one with a 3.5-inch floppy drive.
Oh my god, dude! You need to talk to Randy Randall. All he does is like weird floppy drive stuff, and just like has them on like weird psychedelic kind of soundy. It's
Badass.
you guys are gear nerds.
Well, this is just, this is the thing I had when I was in high school, like programming drums, and it was the only keyboard I had. So our entire first record was programmed on this Korg Triton, and like the Korg's version of like 808 or 909 kits, and like Mini Moog stuff, like shit like that, but the Korg version.
Right.
So it was very. I remember trying to recreate the organ sound on Swing Swing, but on a more modern keyboard.
Right.
And I was like, this sounds too good. Like, this sounds like an actual church organ. We need the Korg Triton fucking organ. So they're very trademark, I feel, these sounds to the songs that we created. So our tracks were actually run on a Korg Triton. Each song was a 3.5-inch floppy disk, because those are 3.4 megabytes or something.
It's nothing.
Nothing.
Like
literally, like smaller than an MP3.
As the modern day zip stick has more information.
Totally.
It's incredible how much. Just let that sink in for a little bit. Just like how much has changed.
Mm-hmm. I think the first recording software I got came on like 20 floppy disks.
Yeah, and you'd have to do them in per session.
Yeah.
And if God help you, you mess those up.
Mm-hmm.
God help you start over.
Yep. It was like
Scrub
a
the
week.
whole thing.
It was like a week just to install the damn thing. But all that to say, every single song was on its own floppy disk, and they were in, like that I got at Office Depot, like floppy disk holder.
Yeah.
And that floppy disk holder, like that was the show. Those were all the loops, all the keys. But in order to play to all those loops and keys, there was also a click track, which came off of that as well. That was the show.
Did the Korg actually have the click coming out of it?
Yeah, I would pan that hard right, and then I would pan all the tracks hard left.
Oh, okay.
So the right would go
front of house.
Well, the left was the tracks that would go front of house, and we didn't have in-ears or anything. So our drummer,
he just played with the click.
whoever it was at the time, and then it became Chris, would have these like big cans.
Yep.
Drummer would have to play with cans, and then Chris would put his like sweatband around him to
Mhm.
hold them on, so he could actually play rock drums, and
Looks
the
like
headphones
mute
would.
math or something.
Yeah,
like that.
totally. And yeah, so that was the show. And one night I left them behind.
Great.
We were opening for Bowling for Soup. They were on their like Girls All the Bad Guys Want, like was a big song for them at the time, and we were opening for them. The shows were pretty big. Like there were great shows, and they were always such great guys to play with.
And they kill that area. If you're in Oklahoma,
Oh, totally.
They're legends.
Yeah, there are a few bands. That's just a great region for live music, I feel.
Yeah.
The Nixons, Toadies, Bowling for Soup, like they can play any venue in that tri-state area and just fucking murder it and sell it out. So it was a really big deal to open for them. But like I said, they're great guys, and we got along really well, and we hung out. I'm sure we were drinking together. So I leave these fucking floppy disks behind, and I don't realize it at first. Like, we're in a van. I was probably drunk. It was after the show. Like, we don't even realize until the next day. And like, I'm like, oh my God, my life is over.
Oh my God, our career.
One of the guys from Bowling for Soup calls I say our manager. It's local girl who was
your
basically
homie hanging out with you in the van that loves you guys and wants to help
right,
out.
and is basically like taking money or selling CDs at the door.
Sure.
That was the equivalent of our management at the time. She gets a phone call. She's like, "That was the Bowling for Soup guys. They've got the floppy disks. They're holding them for ransom." Like, oh fuck, okay.
Of course they are.
Yeah. I was like, okay, what do we buy them a case of beer? Like, what do they want? No, they want whoever left them. Mm-hmm.
You.
Yeah, that was me raising my hand.
Yeah.
To come knock on their bus door and get them, but you have to be naked.
Hell yeah.
Actually, I forget if it was a bus or their van. I don't know. I had to go to them naked
Embrace cowardness.
and say, "Please, can I have our floppy disks back?"
God.
Which I did, and of course, everybody had their video cameras out. I mean, it would have been worse in 2022 because everybody would have their cell phones out and it would be live streaming to something.
Right.
But 20 years ago, it was the same feeling and the same like just mortifying, dignity robbing, just like please put the cameras away.
Please let me have this.
Yeah. So I'm sure those little, what are they, the mini DV tapes or whatever that are called. I'm sure those are floating around somewhere. But I did it, and I think just to kind of stick it back to him, I think I jumped up on Jarrett and just gave him a big naked hug.
Yeah.
When he gave me the floppies back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that never happened again. And actually,
did you make copies of the floppies?
You know what's funny? I don't even know if we had floppy copies.
What's wrong with you? What is wrong? Well, here's the thing. That is a 20-year-old dude's move. How old were you?
I mean, I would have been 20.
You son of
19 or 20.
Son of a bitch. I knew it. Because as soon as I turned 30, I was like, there's duplicates of everything. We have backup amp. We're like, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, just before you got here, I was pulling in my backups from Dropbox and from my hard drive, trying to find a certain drum take that I fucked up my edit, and I needed to find it in like an older version. So
Yeah.
Now backup everything. Because of touring, I have B-Rig everything. I have B-Rig fucking toothpaste.
Hell yeah.
In the house. Like, I can't run out of something and then go to the store. I have to actually have the replacement in the house ready to go.
That's so good. That's what you need to do. Honestly, that duplicate system never fails.
Yep. B-Rig everything.
But when you have these moments
Yeah.
and And you still didn't replay. Like, I'm just blown away that you're like, nah, it worked out. It's fine. Thumbs up. Woo!
Yeah, we just kept rolling like that for a while.
Yeah.
Then we upgraded to mini disc. That was the next thing.
That was a good move.
Same setup, just a different format. Then we upgraded to the ADAT hard drive. That was the next
So
thing.
you were able to put everything instead of the Korg, right?
Yeah.
It was Korg, right?
It was literally a fucking 88 key synthesizer sitting by the drummer. Like on a fucking like road case or a stool or something.
And if I remember correctly, those things aren't light.
Oh God, no.
And they weren't weighted, were they? Weighted keys or anything?
I don't think that one was weighted.
But still, it's big and awkward and rectangular and boxy. And
I remember it was around the same era. I remember playing a radio show in Tulsa. It was the one radio station that was playing us. And we were playing their big like summer concert or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like Saliva was on the bill.
Yeah.
Jimmy Eat World was actually playing too. That was when they were doing on the Bleed American cycle. So it was 2001, 2002.
Dude, Jimmy Eat World, I love.
Oh my God.
I love.
Anything they do, please. Just
It's a weird, like, do you know their history of like how they like were like, yeah, we'll take a risk on you, like the label, like one guy was really into them, and
right.
Where it's just crazy. We may have never ever heard Jimmy Eat World if it wasn't for those moments, you know.
Totally.
I love that band. Anyway.
But yeah, it was a big show for us. We were a baby band. We got lucky that some guy at a radio station liked us and put our song on the radio, so we got to play there. Their summer concert thing. Of course, it's raining, just naturally. There was like a weak spot in the tarp that like was lining the top of the stage. Flap comes down, just all the rain that had been collected on the roof of the stage, just splash on the Korg Triton in the middle of our set.
Did it keep working?
Well, see, this thing's a fucking workhorse, man,
Yeah.
and it kept rolling.
Yeah.
It kept spitting out those fucking floppy drive O's and ones. It was great.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's something to be said to like some of that old school, like even the Moog stuff. Like
Yeah.
you just like it's kind of bulletproof in a way.
Uh-huh.
I mean, don't put it underwater,
Right.
but it's
Right.
pretty bulletproof.
It's kind of like iPhone 2 or 3.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, you can try to get it wet.
Right.
I don't know.
I wouldn't
Sure.
do it, but
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah, we didn't have to stick the Korg in rice or anything. Like it kept going. It was great.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
This exact reason is why I like everything in a rack mount. So at least it has, if say hypothetically
Right.
the oceans above us break,
Uh-huh.
at least it's in a rack, maybe? I don't know. It's like some part of my lizard brain thinks that makes it better.
Right, unless, of course, those are the days the rain comes in sideways.
Yeah,
and
of
you're
course.
fucked anyway.
Yeah. I mean, what is the Meat Puppets have a song that just when we shelter under paper, the rockets come at us sideways.
Is that Backwater?
Yeah, the backwater.
Love that fucking
Dude,
song, man.
I
Doon,
know
doon,
it.
doon, 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 doon,
One of my
doon.
favorite bands.
It's a great riff, too. Fuck. You know, I don't know much about them. I just know that song and the songs that they performed on Nirvana Unplugged.
Really?
But, fuck, Backwater, man. I forgot about that tune.
Dude, it's a great song.
That was what was playing, like, when I was a kid, pretending to be sick so I could stay home from school and watch MTV. It was Backwater days.
Go and do yourself a favor
Mhm.
and go and re-listen to
Too High to Die. That was
Too
what
High
that
to
record
Die.
was.
So Good, or like Meat Puppets 2. That's also a really good record.
Okay.
Or, I mean, those are Huevos is pretty good too. But anyway, love the Meat Puppets. Like for some reason, so I grew up in a small town where, like, the nearest big town was Pueblo, Colorado, and that was like 2 hours away.
Oh, shit.
So we didn't have we had a movie theater, but it kind of, and I graduated with like 23 kids, so it was like no real anything. So everything was handed down, like little 45s or like CDs or whatever. And for some reason, in my little ecosphere, the Meat Puppets got passed around quite a bit. It was like
That's
that and
kinda
Blind
cool.
Melon,
Yeah.
like, which is really weird. Out in the little farm, Skinnerd land is what I would like to call it. You know, like Garth Brooks world. You know.
So I was listening, but I was also racking my brain because Pueblo, Colorado sounded so familiar.
Uh-huh.
I just remembered where it came from. Why I know this town. I remember early on. I think we might have made our first record. Like we were still kind of just starting, but at this point there was no turning back. Our band name was the All American Rejects.
Right.
There was a band in Pueblo, Colorado called the All American Rejects.
No way.
And I don't know how I came across them, or if somebody pointed them out to us. I don't remember. Maybe it came up from like an early, like 2001, like Alta Vista search. I don't know, but
You're dating yourself.
yeah, I know,
yourself.
dude. That's what I've been doing for the last fucking 45 minutes.
You've been
here,
dating yourself?
Back in my day, there were floppy disks, and we used Alta Vista. I still get on Alta Vista and say go to Google.
Wow.
Just kidding. But I remember we actually sent these guys like a cease and desist, like for them to change their band name, because like I said, there was no turning back for us. Like we'd already gotten a record deal. I think we'd maybe made the first album, and we'd probably copyrighted the name at that point. But
I want to hear what they said back.
You know what's funny is that it seemed to kind of just go away, and I don't know if they changed their name or what. I think we were mostly concerned with like internet search results, like
With Pueblo,
finding
Colorado.
finding that band
Yeah.
before finding us, because we had our website, and there were 500 visits to that website at this point. Like
Hell
we could not change our name.
Dude, hard stance. Hard
Yeah.
stance.
And funny enough, a few years ago, we were playing a college. I don't know if it was in Pueblo.
Well, there is a college there.
Okay.
CSU Pueblo, which is like CSU is the big one up in Fort Collins, so it's kind of like the little sister college.
Okay.
And they had Jimmy Eat World. Funny enough, I saw them there. And
Oh,
it
really?
rained and snowed, and like 20 people showed up.
Oh.
No, don't, no. Whenever you put like college kids in charge of anything, they're idiots. They don't know what they're doing. They're like put a stage out there with no like place for the performers to like have a green room or any
Right.
place that's even sheltered.
Right.
Like it was just like PVs on a stick in the middle of a field with lights and stuff. What are you guys doing? What are you doing?
I'm gonna. You can
Let's
edit.
pause
You can edit this part out. I'm gonna look up Pueblo, Colorado, and see if that's actually where we played.
All right, so right now Nick has been looking at his Rolodex to see where All American Rejects played in Pueblo.
It's not a Rolodex. It's a Palm Pilot. Come on.
Oh my god.
No.
It's a BlackBerry. It's a flip phone.
So apparently we did play in Pueblo, Colorado in 2015. And we hung out at a place called the Downtown Bar. I do remember this.
Downtown Bar is, I don't know if it's still there, actually.
I mean,
Okay.
shit. I mean, this was. I feel like
2015.
this feels like recent memory to me, but I guess it was 2015. They talk about how the university, quote, did a horrible job of getting the word out.
I don't want to just blame Pueblo for this, but I've seen this in multiple states. This is
sure.
like a pandemic with bad promo. I mean, I think about where I was when I was like that age, like 18 to 21 or whatever, in
Sure.
that age group, and thinking about my ability to forward think, and I'm 30 and I can't do that. All right, so you have people that are really good at it, but aren't interested in going and running student council
Sure.
promo. So,
Sure.
we have this really cool band coming in. Awesome, they got a hit on the radio. Awesome, all the boxes are checking. What should we do? We'll just throw a party for our friends and only tell our friends, because I don't know
Right.
how to do any marketing.
Yeah, there's like, I feel like a lot of times it does pay off, and the college, it's the thing that's going on that night, so everybody rolls out for it. But then a lot of times people are like, oh, we booked the band, they're kind of famous, that's fine. Our job is now done.
Yeah, the idea that the name alone will carry something,
But people have to see that name is there,
right? Yeah, if no one
doing
knows,
something.
like for example, I went to UNC in Northern Colorado, and they had Better Than Ezra coming to play. I like that band.
Hell yeah.
I like a few of their songs. I was literally walking to class and saw this Better Than Ezra on the side of their little van that I'm like, what the hell? And I went inside to the UNC hall, and I'm like, there's a fucking concert going on right now? And I'm like the guy that's like looking at everything like, and I had no idea.
Right. That sounds about right.
That's shitty. That's shitty for them, and it's shitty for the people that would like that band.
Here's the kicker. Guess who was at the downtown bar that night in Pueblo? Am I ever going to say that right?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Guess who was at the downtown bar in Pueblo, Colorado that night?
I'm going to make a guess,
Yeah.
and you're not going to like this guess.
Go.
Morrissey.
No. The original All-American Rejects from Pueblo, Colorado.
No!
Yeah.
Street fight! Street fight!
I mean, I think at that time it was just like a funny story to tell, and
Wow.
we ran into them
They
there.
were playing?
No, they were just hanging out.
How did you find out that it was even them?
They didn't come up to me. I think they came up to the recognizable one in the band, our singer. And I think they were cool. Like, I remember like, oh, that's so funny. Remember that? Who'd we think we were?
Yeah, well, anyway, we're going to...
Yeah.
Yeah, Pueblo's kind of a weird city. Like, it was the weirdest stuff you'll ever kind of know and not know. Man.
That was my one experience there, but everything came full circle in
Never
my
would
life
I
right
ever
there.
thought that Pueblo, Colorado would have come up on a podcast.
There you go.
Great. That's it. That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to say before? What are you up to now? How do we find your recording studio? What's going on?
Yeah, I've been in Nashville about 8 years now, but I did just build a new space. I call it Wheelhouse Studio. Get it? Because my last name. But no, it has been, technically in the works since 1996, since I bought my first Tascam 4-track recorder.
You've always been the guy with the gear.
Oh, yep. But yeah, this is the first time that I've had a space that is not in my house. I am no longer a bedroom producer, so proud to say. But no, after working in, getting to work in a lot of great studios with a lot of great producers and see a lot of great spaces and then a lot of shitty spaces, I designed this for all of my work outside of the Rejects. Maybe with the Rejects one day, we'll see. But this is what I do when I'm not, performing music. I'm making music, and even here on Labor Day.
Speaking of which, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting me come and bother you.
No, dude. I'm editing drums today. Like, I would be here anyway.
Awesome.
But yeah, this is pretty much what I do. Not full time, but almost full time. And I love it. You can find more about it on my Instagram. I'm Nicholas_Wheeler. And this is Wheelhouse Studio Nashville.
Is that the Instagram for Wheelhouse?
Yep.
I'll make sure to go and tag all that stuff.
Cool.
So you can find that in the the description section of YouTube under this video.
That's on the internet?
The internet.
Okay. And you can find YouTube by searching Alta Vista.
Oh my God. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
Holy cow. Holy cow. Holy cow. I love that guy. He's so funny. Great stories, great people. Shit show. Brought to you by me, Nate Valdez. Thanks again, everybody. I hope you guys really, really enjoy your holiday, and I look forward to catching up with you guys next year and dropping some more poop wisdom on your brains. So thanks again, everybody. Follow us at ShitShowPod. Instagram is at ShitShowPod. In the Whale is Instagram is at _the_whale. And in the Whale Cult for everything else. In the Whale Cult for Twitter and all those good things. Guys, thanks again. Love you, love you, love you. Bye.